about it, okay? So we found out over the weekend, thanks to Nancy Pelosi's interview with the New York Times on their podcast, The Daily, that the plan was to get Biden to, step down from the re-election bid. And then they were all planning an open primary. But Biden, 30 minutes after he dropped out of the race, decided to endorse Kamala Harris as a middle finger to the Democratic Party. The other thing to know about Joe Biden is that their internal polling before he dropped out of the race indicated that if he stayed in the race, Donald Trump was going to win even more electoral college votes than he won against Kamala Harris. But they didn't care. Okay, he remained in the race until it was, in my opinion, already incredibly late. And so he set up Kamala Harris for failure. He set up the Democratic Party for failure. But I also want to be clear that the Democratic Party specializes in failure. They're incompetent, they're pathetic, and they lied to the American people and thought that they would get away with it. The cover-up on Biden's mental decline was very much real. And the fact that the party overall felt the need to lie to the American people and their own base goes to show you how little respect they have for their own voters.
All right.
Well, Mr. President-elect and former President,
Thank you very
Donald,
much.
congratulations.
Thank you very much.
And looking forward to having like we said, a smooth transition. Do everything we can to make sure you're accommodated, what you need. And we're going to get a chance to talk about some of that today. So
Good.
Welcome.
Thank you
Back.
very much. And thank you very much. And politics is tough, and it's many cases not a very nice world, but it is a nice world today, and I appreciate it very much. A transition that's so smooth, it'll be as smooth as it can get, and I very much appreciate it.
It's always funny to me how progressives, they always, online, they always pretend how smart they are. And this kind of proves this, like every right-wing commenter on X saw that this was the case. We all had this theory that, how is it that Biden drops out? Obama talks about open primary, Pelosi and all them. 30 minutes later, Biden said he's endorsing Kamala Harris for president. And we all thought, hey, Kamala is polls way worse than Joe Biden. The Democratic Party talked about replacing Kamala Harris as VP in Biden's second administration, second term, right? CNN was talking about how Kamala Harris does not have the ability to talk to non-Democrats. And Biden endorsed her as president? It goes back to my video when I said that Biden praised Kamala Harris as his best decision. Now, I interpreted it as I picked you because I wanted a second term and I didn't want to give power to somebody that could essentially run for president against me, right? The same logic that Harris did when she snubbed Josh Shapiro for VP. Many people reported that the reason why Kamala Harris did not pick Josh Shapiro is not only because he was a Jewish person, but also because they knew how ambitious Josh Shapiro was and that Harris feared that Josh Shapiro will overshadow her. That sounds familiar. Oh, Biden did that with her. But they want to get mad at conservatives when we called Kamala Harris a DEI hire. Okay. But all that to say, Donald Trump visited the White House today. All right. And I kind of want to cover a lot of drama happened during the White House. Scott Jennings says, "Are you not entertained?" Scott Jennings, he's a commentator for CNN. He says that Trump's transition is the most entertaining ever. And honestly, I'm at the edge of my seat. He nominated Matt Gaetz for Attorney General. And Matt Gaetz already resigned. Now, if you're wondering why the hell did Matt Gaetz resign and he didn't even get the job yet, he didn't even get confirmed yet. Well, here in Florida, if a congressman, I think, resigns before the new Congress come in, they'll be able to already replace them around January 3rd. So Matt Gaetz' seat could already be replaced before January 3rd. Then effectively you don't lose a seat because he did it so fast. So politically wise, he did the Republican Party a favor in the House. So they can still keep their majority if many of their candidates do this. But that also puts pressure on the Senate, which, at the time of me recording this video, Rick Scott lost. And I think we got John Thune. I always mess up his name, so forgive me. But I'm going to cover that a little bit here today. But first, I want to just drop some videos about how Joe Biden welcomes Hitler to the White House, smiles and shakes his hand and tells him how helpful he would be as Hitler takes over. Democrats believe none of what they claim. And this is something I want to talk about, the political theory of our politics. When I tell people, especially in my own life, my mom, she for some reason she thought, oh my God, the KKK is going to be in full force if Donald Trump wins. And I'm like, Mom, where did you get this information from? This is the kind of fear mongering that makes me so antithetical to the mainstream media, to legacy media, because I see that, yo, look what you did to my mom. Like, you literally took control, you literally took advantage of vulnerable people, and yet you want to talk about Donald Trump and their supporters being a cult when many people believe the mess that a lot of you guys were saying online. There's a way in which images like this demolishes partisan delusions. After screaming fascism and threats to democracy, the Democratic administration politely facilitates the transition of power of a person they just finished calling a catastrophic, I never see these words in my life before. Forgive me, a cataclysmic tyrant. Right? This shows you. This is why I say, hey, Democrats are liars. They talk about Donald Trump's a liar, but these people are liars. And then they want you to play nice with them like Chuck Schumer. I'm telling you, there's a lot of drama to go through in the whole transitioning of power. But before then, I want to show some clips of Karine Jean-Pierre, Biden staffers, all seemingly waiting for Trump. And see how different the rhetoric is from Karine Jean-Pierre. Let's take a look.
Just cordial, substantive. The president obviously hit on a wide range of issues, but did he get a sense that the issues that he was impressing upon, that any advice he was giving was being well received?
I think so. I think that's why the president was wanting me to let you all know that there was a very good back and forth, and it was substantive, as I mentioned before, and I want to be mindful. It was a private conversation, so I don't want to go into specifics or details. But look, they met for more than 2 hours. They met for a very long time, or nearly 2 hours, pardon me. And I think by the length of the meeting tells you that they had an in-depth conversation on an array of issues. And so, look, the president reached out to the president-elect wanting to make sure that he gave an opportunity to the president-elect, afforded him that opportunity to have a meeting with him to talk about the different issues that matter to the American people. But nearly 2 hours says a lot about how the meeting went.
Any plans to keep a line of communication open?
The president is always going to obviously keep that line of communication open to the president-elect. We got to remember, this is not about the two presidents. This is not about President Biden or President-elect Trump. This is about the American people and what's right for the American people. And if anything, the president has led by example, right, over the last week now on making sure that we have this cordial transition of power.
Just one other topic.
We're sitting here, as Caitlin was on, looking at that imagery, and it's really stunning. Those are Biden staffers. They're in the EOB. Some of them are lower level, some of them perhaps a little bit higher. But they're there to watch a history moment being made that nobody standing there wanted.
Politics is so strange, isn't it? That Biden ran 4 years ago on the idea that he'll be so good of a president that Donald Trump won't have a chance to win again, to win another election again. Joe Biden said that. You could look it up. Joe Biden said that. That was one of his campaign promises. And then the debacle happened. I mean, Americans been noticed his mental decline, as you saw from the intro with Anna Kasparian pointing out that, hey, Americans were already seeing the mental decline, but the media kept gaslighting America. And I think this is one of the reasons why MSNBC, CNN are plummeting viewers, because they were sitting there, they probably was reflecting and be going, if you're saying that Kamala Harris didn't have enough time to make a good case to American people, then why was it when conservatives were bringing up, hey, I think Biden's mentally declining? Many Americans believe that Biden was mentally declining around 2022, 2023, if I remember correctly. And many people were saying, yo, Biden don't look well. Biden don't look well. Oh, he wasn't being held by Obama. Obviously, they were holding each other in a close embrace. Like, they was making all kinds of justification, all kinds of excuses. every time the conservatives will play some clip of Joe Biden acting abnormal, they'll run around saying those are cheap fakes, cheap fakes. And I think this is how CNN lost the trust of its viewers. I think this is how MSNBC lost the trust of its viewers, because even their most added supporters were like, yo, you helped Joe Biden set us up for failure, essentially, is what the argument that Anna Kasparian is crafting in her statements in my intro. So I just said all this to say, who is more happier than Joe Biden right now? Congratulations. Looking forward to a smooth transition. Welcome back. Welcome back. Does that sound like a man that ran on the message that Donald Trump will never win another election again? And then you got these people here, make America gracious again. Where was this when he was calling Trump Hitler? If he was as extra, like, this is why Donald Trump said politics is tough. He's like, yo, people say stuff they don't mean. They'll do anything that they can to win. They'll do anything, say anything, even if it's a lie, to win. And all these Democrat supporters, these Democratic voters who's voting for Kamala because of threats to democracy. We can't let him get in the White House. And then they're like, why aren't the Democrats fighting? Because they never believed what they were saying in the first place. That was just talk. You know, Mayor Trump, locker room talk, that was just political talk. This is why I said, if you're giving me political rhetoric, I ain't listening to you. Here's a threat to democracy. He's a threat to your bureaucracy, probably, but not a threat to democracy. Get out of here. We had him for 4 years already. After they get smacked, then they realize, oh, yeah, I think we need to moderate on this. But I will give it to Trump. It is entertaining. I think Tulsi Gabbard was named Director of National Intelligence, right? And I got to get to the Senate race because I was kind of, rooting for Rick Scott. But also another announcement, I think, I forgot his name. Not Rick Scott. I forgot the other guy's name. His name's going to come to me. The other Scott guy from South Carolina, I forgot his name. Tim Scott. Tim Scott, I think he's in charge of something with the funds that are responsible for the Republicans' campaign funds. Tim Scott is now in charge of that as well. So that's some announcements that I had. But here's the new Senate Majority Leader and his statements on helping Trump push his agenda. So we'll give him a chance. Like I said, I'm going to give him a chance. If he doesn't, I think Donald Trump has many options that he can go to circumvent these people if they stop his choices. And I think this is one reason why he picked Matt Gaetz. Because Matt Gaetz is essentially a loyalty test. Okay, I know y'all don't like Matt Gaetz, but if you confirm him, then I know you're going to follow along with my agenda. But enough of me talking. Let's get into the clip.
Good afternoon, and thank you all for being here. It's a new day in the United States Senate, and it's a new day in America. The American people have loudly rejected the failed policies of the Biden, Harris, Schumer agenda. And this Republican team is united. We are on one team. We are excited to reclaim the majority and to get to work with our colleagues in the House to enact President Trump's agenda. Good afternoon.
Okay, so he's saying all the right things starting out, right? So we'll see. Many people are going to give him a chance. I would have preferred Rick Scott, but as long as GOP is united behind enacting Trump's agenda, I'm good, right? So even if they don't decide to go through Trump's agenda, they could do a recession. Apparently, if they don't have the votes, they could temporarily appoint all of Donald Trump's appointments for a temporary year, but they'll have to go through the process again to try to get reconfirmed. So it's a temporary solution to a problem. Here's Chuck Schumer, who's now projected to be the minority leader in the Senate. And hear how he talks. Because this man, I hate that. This man is Penguin. That's my nickname for him. Penguin here, from Batman, Penguin. This guy here, he was doing all he can to get his way, push for power, try to remove the filibuster. You remember how hard he went against Kristen Sinema and I think Joe Manchin? We need to pass the filibuster. And he's like, Joe Manchin's like, cool it, bro, because if we remove the filibuster, when they get power, they can do whatever they want to. Relax. No, this guy was pushing. No, we must, because he wanted to do what he wanted because he had the power to. This is the kind of man, like, if he can, he will. That's the kind of man he is. When he can't do something, he tries to appeal to the other side to be better than how he acted when he had the position. That goes against human nature. Humans will only treat another individual as you treated them. That's human nature. That's basic human nature. Treat others how you want to be treated. So you sit here fighting for a filibuster. You wanted to pass all your agendas through simple majority. You lambast your own members because they got in the way of you destroying the filibuster in the Senate. Now here you are going to try to play nice. Look, you're gonna hear the hypocrisy.
Now let me turn to my colleagues on the other side of the aisle. Another closely contested election now comes to an end. To my Republican colleagues, I offer a word of caution in good faith.
No, you don't.
Take care not to misread the will of the people, and do not abandon the need for bipartisanship.
I wish he took his own advice. I just wish he took his own advice. It's always rich with these Democrats that they hold themselves to a lower standard than they hold their opposition.
After winning an election, the temptation may be to go to the extreme. We've seen that happen over the decades, and it's consistently backfired on the party in power. So instead of going...
Mostly you guys. Like, for instance, the Obama term was the biggest backfire. I'm not going to listen to this guy anymore. The Obama term was the biggest backfire on the Democrats. They said we could confirm judges with a simple majority. Obama's second term, I believe he did this. Mitch McConnell came out. You will regret this. And what happened when Trump won? They passed all their judges through simple majority, and they're all crying about it. Oh, we want the filibuster back. Oh, you want the filibuster back? But who broke the filibuster first? Democrats did. So you set the table for Republicans to do what they're doing to confirm 3 Supreme Court justices, and now you mad. Oh, like, make it make sense. Make it make sense. And now he's telling you, caution, stuff will backfire. Yeah, because you know from personal experience. Let's talk about Trump's appointments, because the transition team I think is the most interesting part about this video. And hear how a Democrats reacted to why Trump picked Matt Gaetz. And I also kind of agree with this framing that it's almost seen to me as a loyalty test. Okay, let's see if you really F with the agenda. I'm gonna pick someone y'all don't like. I'm gonna put him in a position of power. Let me see if you're gonna confirm him. Hey, maybe it's 3D chess, 4D chess. Who knows? But one thing I do know about Donald Trump is he somehow is always able to turn adversity into a strength for him. I don't understand. It's a skill that I hope all of us have. He turns his adversity into an advantage. The adversity of getting Matt Gaetz into Attorney General is probably going to be his hardest appointment. But that's an advantage for him, because then they can show him, okay, who's really vibing with my agenda and who's not. So this is how I tend to see it, but you let me know in the comment section how you seeing this. Let's take a look at the clip.
I've heard from some of your Democratic colleagues in the House who are concerned, this was before Matt Gaetz was the pick, that a Trump DOJ might target them, that they could be investigated. Do you think that that is going to be part of Gaetz's repertoire? Is he going to be settling scores?
Well, I don't know. I don't want to speak for Matt or speak for the Trump administration.
Do you have
I'm
a
pretty
concern
sure they're not
that would
just going to
happen?
Well, I mean, I'm pretty sure with this pick, they're not just going to go around and shut down puppy mills. All right, this is a very serious pick, and Donald Trump is obviously telegraphing that he means business. Matt Gaetz is one of his best weapons in Congress. He's taking him out of Congress, and he's giving him the Attorney General's office. And so, again, I've known Matt for 10 years. Matt is very good at what Matt does in Congress, and now he's going to bring that to the Attorney General's office. And so I don't want to get ahead of what their plans are, but Donald Trump is very clear on what he plans to do with DOJ by giving it to Matt Gaetz.
Hey. And the American people want him. So no delay. And I agree with Scott Jennings' assessment here that this is one of the most entertaining kind of transitions that we've seen in a long time. It's like every day I'm like looking, hey, did he confirm a new person yet? Right? Elon Musk was got a standing ovation at the House Republicans conference. Donald Trump spoke with the House Republicans. This is very interesting. Like, all eyes are glued on what the hell's going on, right? Donald Trump also discussed with Biden about Ukraine, Israel, and foreign policy in the White House meeting. I want and asked for his views, and he gave them to me, right? So Trump is open-minded, he spoke to one of his voters. That's the joke going around, like Biden voted for Trump.
I've heard from
And
some
the
of your
way
Democratic
he,
colleagues
sorry
in the
guys,
House.
the way he conveys with Trump, it seemed that way. It seems like, yeah, like I voted for this man. But I digress. Let's get into the clip to wrap up the video.
Scott, I don't think I'm divulging or betraying any confidences to say that when we told you the news, you were in disbelief.
Are you not entertained? I
Wow.
mean, this is the most entertaining transition I've ever seen. No, I was as surprised as Paula, because it's not a name that we had seen. You know, we'd seen some reporting, a lot of different names, frankly, a lot of really sort of well-heeled Washington legal types that were on the list. So I'm as surprised as anyone. But what I take away from this is that this is a president-elect who is feeling his power. I mean, this is someone who is appointing people to things, whether it's Gates or anything else we've seen today, who is feeling his power, feeling his influence, doesn't feel like he's in a mood to negotiate with the people in Washington, D.C.
And that's a good thing, right? And a lot of people, and I saw this on X, and they pointed out how many of his appointments are millennials, like 40s, and I'm sorry, Gen Xers, I know you guys would have made great leaders, but blame the baby boomers. I'm sorry, baby boomers. I don't mean to blame y'all, but these politicians, they don't want to give up power. You see Nancy Pelosi? Nancy Pelosi has been involved in politics since 1960s when she went to JFK's inaugural, I forget where, 1961. This lady was a teenager, I think, when she met RFK. Not RFK, JFK, sorry. John F. Kennedy. RFK's uncle. Imagine that. And she's still in politics today. She just won re-election again in California. We missed out on some great Gen X political leadership. Like, that's how long baby boomers has been in power, to the point that we skipped a generation electing these officials, appointing these officials. Every official so far, except I think Tom Homey, are millennials. Pete, Elon, Vivek, Tulsi, Lee Zeldin, Matt Gates, all these guys are millennials like me. I'm the youngest one. Like, I'm 96, so I'm not the cutoff. I'm the cutoff. And it's just shocking to me how long these people have been hogging all the power. Like, they don't want to let the next generation control their own fate.
He's here to do what he wants to do, and he's going to expect the Republicans to fall in line. Now, all these people, whether it's Gates or Hegseth or anyone else, have to go to confirmation and go through these committee hearings and prove themselves like anyone else. But it is apparent to me that Trump is in a decisive mood and is not someone who's interested in picking things that he would consider to be watered down. So that's my initial reaction to this one. I mean, we truly learned about it 2 seconds before we came on here, so pretty wild day.
Yeah, we had to say it is on Trump's Truth Social account. It is coming from his mouth, right? It's coming from his account. Megan, your reaction?
I mean, yesterday we had a bunch of conventional picks, and I think people felt good about where we were going and maybe thought that he was going to be a little bit more moderated than we were expecting. And then today brought a whole new set of people to confirm. So I think it's a little bit shocking with this and with Tulsi Gabbard with DNI. So I just, I think it'll be interesting to see what tomorrow brings, but I do agree. Who knows if this is how many of these people are going to actually get confirmed. I think there are a lot of people. And
who do you think will have the most trouble being confirmed? And do you expect that there will be some who are?
Matt Gates, Tulsi Gabbard, Pete. Matt Gates, Pete, Tulsi Gabbard. Because Tulsi Gabbard, she's more of the moderate pick in my eyes. So maybe some Democrats will come around, but like a moderate Democrat will be like, no, I'm gonna put Tulsi in there. So she has a good chance of getting in there. But the hardest one for sure in my eyes is Matt Gates, hands down.
Or not.
Well, look, I think that for the most part, these people, I mean, they do have qualifications. I mean, Matt Gates is a lawyer, and he has been in Congress, and obviously is a supporter of the president's agenda, and he'll have supporters in the Senate. They all get a chance to go and compete. And go and prove themselves.
He's been on both sides of the legal system, as it were.
So, but he, like everyone else.
She had to throw that in there. And I don't know about the accusations surrounding Matt Gates, right? I'm not going to comment. If there's no real evidence of it, all of it is conjecture. All it is accusations. So he's innocent in my eyes until there's something more concrete. You guys can spread all the rumors you want. Say he slept with this 17-year-old girl and all this stuff. Who knows? All I know is I know what I don't know. So I don't know the specifics. I don't know because some people say that this person was a blackmailer. They try to blackmail Matt Gaetz because Matt Gaetz claimed that, hey, look, in Washington, a lot of these people are controlled through blackmail. It's the same thing that happened to the guy. I forgot, he was limp on his like lower body. He was 28 years old. He was my age. He ran for Congress, and then he exposed how all these senators go out and have these little orgies, and all of a sudden, like that, he lost his seat. I forgot his name. He was in Florida. I forgot his name. Someone probably in the comment section will remind me. But I digress. I didn't want to make this video too long. But let me know your thoughts about the whole transition event. Is this must-see TV? Are you interested? Who you would like Donald Trump to announce next? What position you're more interested in? Do you believe some of the picks that Trump picked was the best picks? Do you have another opinion about it? I'd like to hear all your thoughts in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. I appreciate you guys watching to the end of the video, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.